Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Tyler from the Keep Pounding podcast. And today we're going to go over some Panther news and talk about a few things that's going on and kind of go over, talk about Jalen Ramsey a little bit, the rumors with that, and then also kind of go over what I believe week one, what is the starting lineup going to be depth chart wise, both on offense and defense. So I'll give you my thoughts on that. And we're going to go over some news, both NFL news and Panther news. So it was sad to hear earlier today. I was at work. I saw that Jim Irsay unfortunately passed away. He was only 65. Uh, uh, Obviously, not a Colt fan, but you could just tell this guy loved his team, loved the players. The players loved him. He was definitely an owner that the players loved to be around. Loved, putting a lot of effort into what he did, and just seemed like a really nice, good guy. I know he had a lot of issues, but feel really bad for him and his family. So prayers up to Jim Irsay, his family and friends, and Colt Nation. So sorry to hear that, Colt Nation, and my thoughts and prayers are with you guys. Okay, so we got Nick Sirianni. So Nick Sirianni got a contract extension. I'm not exactly sure the terms of the deal. They weren't really disclosed, but it is expected to be obviously more significant than his contract that he signed back in 2021. He did sign a 5-year, $35 million contract. Going into this year was his last year of the contract, so they went ahead and extended him. And Nick Sirianni, he's one of the most successful coaches in the league right now. He's led the Eagles to a 48-20 regular season record over the last 4 seasons. He's had 4 playoff appearances, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and 1 championship. He has over 70% winning percentage, which ranks among the highest in NFL coaches in NFL history in their first 4 seasons. And obviously, Howie Rosen is a big part of that. And so obviously Nick Sirianni, the players, the other coaches as well. Um, so we'll see if the Eagles continue, but Nick Sirianni with a much deserved pay raise. All right, so the tush push. So there was a vote for the ban of the tush push that happened today, and you needed 24 votes to get this approved, and there were only 22, so they're shy by 2. Uh, there were 10 teams that voted against the tush push. You got the Eagles, the Ravens, the Browns, the Lions. They all really strong offensive line. Jaguars, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, and Titans. So the Panthers are one of them. And this is definitely, I believe that this is definitely more ownership that does this, right? The ownership is going to make the final call on this. I believe that the GM, coaches, they're all going to get together and kind of give their opinions to the owners, but the ownership makes that decision. Um, I do think it's a pretty weak move, in my opinion, trying to ban a play that it literally has no data that shows that it causes any increased likelihood of injury. But again, I'm pretty confident the owner makes the vote versus the GM and the coach. Um, but yeah, so there is no ban on the tush push. So I'm sure Eagle fans are ecstatic about this. Then you have Fox. So Fox put out on Twitter a way too early playoff bracket prediction. Uh, so they have us winning our division and being the number 4 seed. I do think we have a shot to win the division. The Bucks, I believe, are our biggest threat right now. A lot can change. Falcons. People think that could be a possibility. I don't think so, but I think a lot of that depends on Michael Penix. Can he take a big step? He did show some flashes, but he also kind of looked like the old Bryce Young out there at times, like the old Bryce Young, the rookie Bryce Young. He didn't look good in a lot of the games. But us making winning our division, making the playoffs is a huge win for this upcoming season. If we're able to win our division and make the playoffs, I think that's a huge win. If anything above that, I think it's even far exceeding expectations. But we should definitely be competitive in the division. But what I thought was interesting is that they had 3 teams from the NFC East. They had the Commanders, which is they ranked 1, which there's nothing wrong with that. The Eagles, they had ranked 5, which I thought was so weird. Like, you really think the Eagles are going to take a step back? Who did they lose? I mean, I don't know. And they have the Cowboys. Cowboys ain't won the division. I don't think the Cowboys will make the playoffs. Sorry, not what I meant. I don't think the Cowboys will win the playoff or to make the playoffs. But I just don't see 3 teams from the NFC East going to the playoffs. I can see the Eagles and the Commanders for sure. But if anything, a division with 3 teams that can make the playoffs would be the NFC North. So I think the Vikings can make it, the Packers, and the Lions. I think the Packers have more of a chance of making the playoffs by far over the Cowboys. But Vikings, Packers, and Lions and the NFC North, that's a tough division. They used to be a really weak division. That one's pretty tough. So let's see if what JJ McCarthy does. This is his chance this upcoming season. But the Vikings, really good, strong team. Obviously, the Packers and the Lions. So I think that would be a team that will. I think they did that this past year. Those 3 teams went to the playoffs. I think they'll do it again. But what I thought was weird is they had the Chiefs not winning their division. They have the Broncos winning the division, which I thought was absolutely stupid. There's no way you're telling me that Bo Nix and Sean Payton are going to beat Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. No. They do have 3 teams from the AFC West going to the playoffs, which is the Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Chargers. Again, that's a very tough division. You have the Raiders in there, so that's the only easier team that's in that division. But I still think with Mahomes there, they still win the division. So I thought this was interesting. They're giving they believe the Panthers are going to win the division. Okay. Let's see something here.
You need
Okay. I wanted to show a video real quick. So this is a video of Jalen Walker during draft night with his agent, and his agent was I thought this was interesting. I wanted to show you guys, but this was him on draft night getting ready, talking to his agent David, and David asking him, what are you thinking? Who do you think is going to draft you?
You know what I'm saying? You need some rest. How you feeling?
I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed, sir. How you feeling?
I'm feeling I'm excited, man. Ready to go.
I'm already going. What's your gut? Give me your gut.
I got a couple. I got Falcons trading up. I got Raiders, and I got Panthers for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, so Raiders I thought was interesting. I was like, that would be a huge. I mean, I know he kind of did it in order, and I think order matters. So he thought the Falcons would trade up, which I thought was interesting. I never thought anybody would trade up for anybody besides Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter. That was the only 3 that I thought would trade up for. But he had the Falcons trading up or the Raiders, which they're picking, I believe, 6. That would have been a reach. And us. And he said Panthers for sure. So I thought that was interesting. So I think that he in his head, he was thinking he was going no further than 8. So if you remember the video, if you haven't seen it, there's a video of him pretty much reacting to the Panthers drafting T-Mac. And you could just see the letdown on his face that he was bummed about that, which it would have been cool stories from South Carolina, right down the road. I definitely think half the fan base was wanting him to be a Panther, but we ended up taking T-Mac. So hopefully Jalen Walker does not make us regret not drafting him 2 times a year. I think the Falcons defense can get better, but they're pretty young on defense. They have obviously drafted Jalen Walker, and they picked James Pierce Jr., which I think was going to be a really good duo in the future. But they have a lot of missing pieces. I think the Falcons will be 3rd in the division, to be honest with you. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay. Can't wait.
Carolina Panthers.
This is another one. So Dave Portnoy, I saw He was doing, this is just a cut version from the video, but he was doing a schedule reaction to all the teams that the Patriots were playing. So he's a huge Patriots fan, as you can see, the 6 trophies there. Got his Patriots mug, Patriots hat, Patriots shirt, got his rings on. So he's doing a reaction, and he talked about the Panthers.
Most irrelevant franchise in football. Nobody cares about when they draft a quarterback, they bench a quarterback, he's back. Panthers useless. 4-0. That's basically a bye.
Yeah. So if you watch the whole video, he really thinks that the team's gonna go 5-0. I understand they made a lot of moves. You got a new coach, new system, which is already difficult in itself. Dude, you have Drake May on offense as your quarterback. I understand you got Stephon Diggs. You added a lot of players. You got Quentin Williams from the Jets that you took from us in free agency. Bro, you're not going 5-0. You're not going 5-0. And you're talking about the Panthers being a bye week. And I get, like, you're not, he's probably not really into all the other teams, obviously, like, you're really in tune with all the other teams. He doesn't know what moves we're making and, how our season was progressing and improving, right? Just like I'm not too familiar with the Patriots, but bro, you ain't going 5-0, tell you that right now. And saying that we're a bye week, I got that tweet bookmarked. So when we play them and we beat them, I can't wait to post that. And so, I love Dave Portnoy. I think he does really good pizza reviews. I like a lot of his opinions on a lot of different things. Don't agree with everything he says politically, but I think he's a very straight shooter, straightforward, good guy. I like what he's done in business, but I saw this video. I thought it was funny, kind of funny, to be honest with you. I can't. Now I'm really looking forward to the Patriots game, and we better win, man. I want to post that on Twitter so bad. And then I thought this was pretty cool. So Hunter Renfrow, you can see here,
A bye week.
running really crisp routes. This is what I like to see. So can Hunter Renfrow get back to his old form when he played for the Raiders? Can he do that? And if he can, you will see, in my opinion, he will definitely, if he can get back to that, he'll be on the roster. Can he be the future Adam Thielen replacement for a couple years? That's what we're hoping. Some people are like, oh, get him off the team. Bro, if he can be Adam Thielen, do you want Adam Thielen off the team? This guy was good. He had a medical issue and got it taken care of. So he's trying to get back to, if he can get back to the form he was before, I'm for it. And then watching this, T-Mac looked pretty smooth with his routes, his hands, Adam Thielen out there throwing the ball. So this was like just fun to watch, seeing this on Twitter. But I do think T-Mac has some underrated speed for sure. So I'm excited for the Panthers offense coming up. This is something that I thought was kind of funny I saw on Twitter today, or the other day. So this is a tweet that has been since taken down by the PGA Tour that kind of poked fun of the Panthers' lack of success. This really didn't bother me personally, to be honest. I did think it was kind of funny and kind of sad, but I did think it was kind of dumb for the PGA Tour to tweet this while North Carolina was hosting the PGA Championship there. So Scotty Scheffler has 15 wins since 2022, and the Panthers since 2022 have 14. So I did think that was kind of funny. It's true. But it eventually got taken down. And to me, there's rumors, and it makes sense that it could have been David Tepper that had them delete the tweet, possibly. He is supposedly a resident of Quail Hollow. I didn't know that. But if that's true, that Tepper called and was able to take this down, to me, that's soft and pathetic, dude. Like, it's just a tweet. It's kind of funny. If you don't want people to make fun of your franchise, get better. Which I think you're in that direction. But to me, that's a little soft. Like, it's just poking fun at something. It could have been just reaction, and it may have not been a David Tepper, but I thought that was kind of funny, to be honest with you. Okay, so we got some new numbers for the free agents that we picked up and some of the other players. So you have number 5, Rico Dowdle, who we got from the Cowboys, running back. So the last person that I believe wore number 5 was Deontay Johnson. Um, Outside of that, I don't know anybody else that wore number 5. Number 7, you have Trayvon Moehrig, the safety we got from the Raiders. So he is wearing number 7. And historically, it's been a QB that's worn number 7 for us. So most famously, Jake Jalon wore number 7. PJ Walker, I think, wore number 7, and then he went to number 9. You had Will Greer that won number 7. Then most recently you had Jadeveon Clowney, that was the last player to wear it. And we just let him go. So Trayvon Moehrig gets number 7. You have Hunter Renfrow wearing number 13. So the first name that comes to mind is Kelvin Benjamin, wore number 13. But I believe most recently it was Delvin Tompkins that wore 13. You have Trevin Wallace, linebacker that we drafted last year, wearing number 32. I believe he wore this in college. But outside of that, if you guys remember Tyron Poole that played corner back in the mid-90s, he wore it, and then also Lonnie Johnson a year or so ago wore it as well. I think it was last year he wore it. So Trayvon's wearing 32. Matthew Wright, the kicker, is wearing number 37. I honestly can't think of anyone that's worn that number. I don't even think Matthew Wright's going to be our kicker when we play week 1. I think it'll be Ryan Fitzgerald, who we signed as an undrafted free agent this past year. So I don't even think 37 will be. I think 37 will be available once week 1 starts. You'll see. I don't think Matthew Wright will be our kicker, but we'll see. 56. You have Christian Rosebaum that we got from the Rams, linebacker. The other linebacker I can remember that wore that was AJ Klein. But outside of that, I don't know anyone else that wore that. You have Patrick Jones II wearing number 91. I have no idea who wore this. I don't know anyone that's worn 91 for the Panthers. Trishawn Wharton, defensive tackle that we picked up from the Chiefs, wearing number 92. I do remember Reggie White back in the day wearing that. Can't really think of anybody else that wore that. And then number 97, Bobby Brown III, defensive tackle that we got. Where did we get him? The Rams, right? I think we got him from the Rams too. Mike Rucker. I remember Mike Rucker wearing that when you got Chris Jenkins and Julius Peppers and those boys. And then YGM and Mario Addison were the recent players that wore that. So those are the new numbers for the players. And we have let go of wide receiver Moose Muhammad III. We let him go several days ago. And then according to Mike K, I saw this on Twitter, he went unclaimed on waivers with an injury designation. As of now, he's reverted to the Panthers IR, so he won't count against the 90-man roster. The only way he can play Carolina this year is if he agrees to an injury settlement, gets waived off IR, and eventually resigns during the season. That's the only way you're going to see him play this year. So with Moose, this is going to be a cool story, but I'd never, even before the injury, I didn't think he was going to challenge the roster just based on, some tape that I watched, some things I read. I thought it was a cool story because, his dad played for us and his dad was a great wide receiver, but I just think it was a cool story. That's it. I don't think even, again, if he didn't have the injury, I still don't think he would have made the 90-man roster, to be honest with you. Right. Then we have, Dave Canales did mention joint practices. So the Panthers will be hosting joint practices with the Browns this offseason. The Panthers will also be playing, he mentioned, the Texans and the Steelers in the preseason this year. And Canales did say that he would like to have joint practices with those teams as well. I'm not sure if a team has ever had 3 joint practices during the offseason, preseason, but I think you'll get a lot more out of joint practices, in my opinion, than regular practice. You're going up against different players that you aren't familiar with, and there's an increased level of competition with that. I do hope that Canales will let Bryce and the starters play more than they did last preseason. Joint practices are great, but the one thing you get out of the preseason games that you can't get out of joint practices is knowing that you can get hit pretty hard, tackled pretty hard, especially the quarterbacks. That's why I wanted Bryce to go in and play in the preseason last year, because you can play in joint practice and play against other players, but if you don't have that threat in your head that, hey, I can get hit, you can get a little too comfortable, and that's not game type of reps. So you want live, real game reps. Um, but also having the game under the lights and fans in attendance, that brings another element to it. But again, joint practices are great and are better than regular practice, but joint practices shouldn't fully replace starters from playing in preseason games. I really hope Dave Canales modifies this. I think he will. I do think you'll see some of the starters play more this preseason. I think you'll see the starters play like your traditional amount. Um, Now, if you are a team that has a Mahomes or a Josh Allen or whatever, and they've been in the same system for years, then yeah, you can be able to not let them play as much or at all during the preseason. But teams that are brand new to a system or this is their second year like us, I think you should. Um, if they do joint practices with Houston, Dave Canales mentioned they'll be able to play in that heat, which he mentioned, yes, Charlotte can get very humid and hot, but Houston, just like Tampa Bay, where Canales was the OC for, it's a different level of heat and humidity. But with the joint practice for the Browns, because that's the one that has been for sure solidified that we're going to do, the matchups that I'm looking forward to in this and reading about is more so about the offensive line and defensive line. You know, in particularly Miles Garrett versus Ike Ekwonu. How does and I'm sure they just acquired Mason Graham, so I feel confident with our interior offensive line going against him. But it's still gonna be fun to see like how that because I wanted us to be able to draft him. Like how does he look, uh, and how does our offensive line look against Mason Graham? You have Denzel Ward, that's the cornerback there in their secondary versus T Mac XL and company. I'm looking forward to that. And then also Jerry Judy versus JC Horn. So those are some of the matchups I'm looking forward to. We'll see if the Panthers are able to uh, get another joint practice or two with the Steelers or the Texans. I think it sounds like that probably is going to work out, but we'll see. Okay, so now I want to go into my depth chart. So I made this both. This is both offense and defense. So the green, in my opinion, is going to be a top tier player, excellent player. The orange is just a solid player. Good. They're good. Yellow is average, unknown, and red is trash. So right now, I don't have any red. That again, this is subject to change. This is based on what I know now, and then but going into uh, OTAs, I'll update this, and then midway through training camp, and then after each preseason game, I'm going to update this and have a up. Are they? Is that player getting better, or are they getting worse? So let's go to offense. So Bryce Young, I have him at orange. He can definitely get to green if he can start where he left off. If he can start where he left off, this guy's going green, and that we are going to go places this season. If Bryce Young can play the way he played the back half of last season, this season, boy, I'm telling you, we're winning the division. I'm telling you, and especially if our defense can just be average, we are winning the division. I have Chuba Hubbard green, so Chuba is very consistent. He's a smart, hard running back. Him and Rico Dottle should allow Dave Canales to run the ball a lot more this year. To me, again, this offense line is great. We have two really good running backs. And if we're in games, there's absolutely no reason why we should not be able to run the ball like Dave Canales wanted to last season. I understand, again, last season you had Chuba Hubbard, Miles Sanders as the backup. It's not really Miles Sanders isn't like super reliable. He didn't really have any good games besides the last game. So I can give Dave Canales some grace because he didn't have a second-hand monster because you had Jonathan Brooks that was out all season pretty much. But now you have a really good running back in Chuba Hubbard, obviously, that you secured, and you have Rico Donnelly got in free agency. So there's no reason why we can't be running the ball a lot more. So the left, so you have Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, and Taylor Moton, all very reliable. There should be no surprise that they're green. Icky, I had orange. Again, Icky has always been a dominant run blocker, and he's been improving every year at pass blocking since his really bad performance he had his sophomore year. But this is a contract year. I expect him to really solidify the left tackle position and leave Dan and Dave no doubt on if they should sign him long term or not. So and I think he will do that this season. I think Icky will really show like, hey, I'm a franchise left tackle. So I have Cade Mays. So to me, I put it yellow. I was in between yellow and orange in this because Cade Mays really did a good job last season, but he played only, I think, maybe half of the season last year. But he did struggle his first game or two. But it's going to be interesting to see if Cade wins the job or if Austin Corbett wins it. But either way, depth at this position will be pretty solid. But I do think right now that Cade Mays is going to win this job just based on how he played last season. And then obviously Austin Corbett is I think I've seen some people really think that he's going to win it out, and he looked solid when he did play. It's just can he stay healthy? We'll see. So this will be interesting to watch during OTAs and training camp. Jatavion Sanders, tight end. I have yellow because it's a little unknown for me because he did really well the first half of the season, but after his neck injury, I really saw that Sanders and Trimble shared a lot more snaps. JT just didn't look like he did before the injury. So can he bounce back? He did okay the second half, but he just did not look the same. And I attribute that to the injury. So I'm just hoping to see him get back to form. If he does, to me, he's going to be in the orange. XL is yellow. He's mid right now. Can he fix the drops? We know that he improved from a route running standpoint. And if he can fix the drops, like last season, if he caught a couple of crucial catches, he would be orange, and people wouldn't even talk about XL is we wouldn't have this battle in the fan base between XL's a bum or XL's going to be really, really good. But again, he had a lot of drop passes last season. This can be his breakout season, or it can be the opposite. I really think this could be a breakout season for him, just with adding T-Mac to the wide receiver room. The competition is going to help him improve. Jalen Coker's still there. You have Adam Thielen. This group is stronger, but I do think that T-Mac kind of helps push him, and I do think Xavier Legette makes that extra step. I hope so. If Xavier Legette can make that extra step and Bryce Young can get back to how he was playing last season in the second half of the season, this is going to be a fun offense to watch. T-Mac, yellow, we don't know yet. I'm really excited to see him in this offense. I have him, again, yellow, just because I need to see him in game action before I can change it. But I do expect him to force me to change it to orange and hopefully green this season. But I just want to see what he looks like in offense before I change his color. Thielen, I have him at orange just because of his age. If he was Coker's age, I'd be like, dude, this guy is green. But this is his last season. He is Bryce Young's reliable target. Having him as a veteran leader in the wide receiver room, to me, is very crucial for the continued development of XL and Coker and the development of our rookie T-Mac. Defense. So you have Derek Brown, left defensive end. I expect a dominant year from DB this year. He's healthy. He's stronger than he was last year before the injury, as well as having improved players along the defensive front. I really expect a breakout year from Derek Brown. Nose tackle, we have Bobby Brown III that we got from the Rams. We have finally have a solid nose tackle, a competent nose tackle, not Shy Tuttle. He's yellow because I need to see him play. And a lot of these guys are yellow because I need to see how they work together and how Evero uses them. But hopefully Bobby Brown can go to orange. We have the right defensive end, Wharton. Wharton, again, is definitely better than what we had last season, but his contract was, in my opinion, a little overpay. He played alongside Chris Jones last year in KC, which obviously helps. He's young and still improving as a player, but let's see if he can continue to develop and live up to his contract. So I'm excited to see how Tershawn Wharton plays. It's just I have him yellow because, one, I need to see how he plays, but two, can he live up to that contract that he got? That was a rich contract. I mean, again, we're the Panthers. You got to pay to play, but hope the good part is he's been improving the last several years, and hopefully we're getting him. We're still developing him and where he can peak higher, and we're getting him young. So we'll see how Deshaun Wharton develops and how he looks in the defense. DJ Wanham, I need him to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, he easily goes to orange. He was definitely a much needed help at the edge position when he came back from his injury. But again, I need to see health because he looked really good when he came back. When he came back from his injury, he looked really, really good. So I'm excited to see how he plays this season and can he stay healthy. You have the left inside linebacker, Trevin Wallace. And this is going to be a sophomore season. Can he continue to develop? He got a lot of reps last season with Shaq Thompson out for the year. Can he improve from a coverage standpoint, a blitzing standpoint? Let's see if he can continue to improve. This is, again, the linebacker position, left inside, right inside linebacker. I think this could definitely look different next offseason. This is something that, again, like they're okay. They're mid. They're okay. But I definitely think if they do not, especially Trevor Wallace does not continue to progress, this is something you're going to see us attack in free agency and or the draft. You have the right inside linebacker, Josie Jewell. To me, Josie is nothing better than an average player. He had a couple of missed games last season from injury. He was getting better as the year went on, but he's just average. You have the strong side linebacker. I really think Nick Scorton. I'm banking on Nick Scorton beating Patrick Jones II. If he can beat out Patrick Jones II, I'm really excited about this defense. Again, Patrick Jones II could take the starting job beginning of the season, and then later in the season it can change. But I'm betting on Nick Scorton winning that job. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm looking forward to seeing the rookie play. But for now, Patrick Jones, in my opinion, he has this position. But again, I still think Nick's gonna beat him and beat him for the starting job by week 1. But we'll see. But I do. Another reason why I think he's going to win that job is because Dan Morgan valued him as a first-round talent, and if he's a first-round talent, first-round players start, especially with a position of need that you needed last season. J.C. Horn, we all know he's a dominant player. Can he stay healthy? If he does, he's dominant. He's gonna be a dominant force on that side of the ball. Mike Jackson, cornerback number 2. He did well for us last year, especially with how unstable that position was for us last year. I think he's solid. He's a solid average cornerback. He could get to orange. I want to see a little bit more out of him this season, but we'll talk about it a little bit, but is he going to be our CB2? Are we going to make any moves? Or if not, he's our CB2. But I have him at yellow right now. Free safety, I think Damani Richardson's going to win this. I really think he's going to beat it over Lathan Ransom. Again, can they go out and get another safety? Maybe, but I think they have to get a corner over a safety, in my opinion. I think Damani Richardson can handle this position. It'll be fun to see Damani and Lathan battle out in training camp. Again, Damani did a great job last season while playing in the position late in the season. He's someone I would have liked to watch him have more playing time last year, but we all know how Evero is with not playing rookies unless he absolutely has to. And I have Trayvon Moehrig. At green because I'm really expecting a lot out of Trayvon to be a really, really good, solid, strong safety for us. I want to see him be the Kurt Coleman of the defense. Like if he, that's what I'm expecting out of him, as a dominant captain, strong safety. So that's what I have it for now. Again, this is subject to change. I'm going to update this as needed. I could update this after OTAs. I'm going to update this definitely after training camp. And then I'm going to update these weekly as far as preseason. And then I might do it even during the season too. We'll see. All right. The last thing I want to talk about, can the rumors about Jalen Ramsey coming to Carolina. So Jalen Ramsey put out a tweet that said, I've been blessed to be around some of the best teammates and coaches. Coach E, who's Evero, is one of the real ball coaches, will be a head coach one day, nothing but respect. And Evero talked about how Jalen Ramsey was one of the smartest players he's ever coached. He said he was one of the two smartest smartest players he's ever coached, him and Rondé Barber. I do think this is a possibility. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it happening because the Panthers don't have a history of making these moves. Again, it's a new GM, new head coach, new ownership. This could happen, but I'll believe it when I see it. I do think the Panthers should be in on this and should be making some calls just to see, does he want to come here? Because his cap hit, I don't think it's going to cost anything expensive to trade for him. I think it could be at the most like a 5th round pick. I don't even see it being more than that, to be honest with you. But his cap hit isn't that much. I think it was $5 million for this year. Then after that, it was like 15 or 16. And then the year after that, it's like 17. So if we can have JC Horn and Jalen Ramsey, oh my gosh, dude. He instantly. So I saw some people say like, oh, he'll play nickel. Bro, he's playing CB2. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I didn't really look into how much Jalen Ramsey played or, poorly or great last season with the Dolphins. The Dolphins had a horrible season with Tua being out. Jalen Ramsey is a beast, dude. Like, what are we talking about? People saying like Mike Jackson would still start. No, he won't. He won't start over Mike Jackson. I think they'll like have him battle out in training camp, but he's beating Mike Jackson out of that job. So if you got Jalen Ramsey as CB2 and you got Mike Jackson as depth corner, that this defense just got so much better. So much better. But again, I hope it works out. I hope, Jalen Ramsey is an amazing player, but we'll see. But the Dolphins, they look like they're trying to move in a lot of different directions. I've heard rumors about not just Jalen Ramsey being traded, but Tyreek Hill, and we'll see. We'll see. So I thought this is interesting, but I do think the Panthers should be in on this. So we'll see what happens. Again, this is the off season where there's not a lot to talk about. I'm probably going to make a video. I was thinking about making a video. I don't know when I'm going to, if I'm going to do it next time or not, but I thought about making a video that discussed and talked about how we stack up against the NFC South. We'll go by teams for offense and defense. I don't know if that's something I'm going to do next time or not, but I think I'm going to make a video about that and just kind of see, get an in-depth preview of what the Falcons, the Saints, and the Bucks look like offensively and defensively, and just kind of get a general idea of what to expect from those teams and just how that team stacks up to us. So I think that might be something I might talk about. I'm definitely going to talk about. I just don't know when I'm going to do it. So, but that's gonna be that's gonna be it for me. Would love for you guys to leave a comment, like, subscribe, help me build this community. Thank you guys for watching and listening to the video. But I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.